Most men fear lust. They try to fight it, suppress it, or run from it. That's a mistake. Lust isn't the enemy, it's energy. And if you learn how to control it, you can use it to push yourself to the next level. Instead of letting it weaken you, let it drive you. Lust is raw power. Use it or waste it. Lust is one of the strongest forces inside you. It's raw, untamed power, the kind that can either build you into a machine or turn you into a slave. Most men let it consume them. They chase women, drain themselves with mindless indulgence, and wonder why they feel weak, lost, and unmotivated. The trap that keeps men weak. Look around. How many men spend their days distracted, glued to screens, chasing validation, wasting hours on things that drain them? They let their urges dictate their actions. They get hooked on quick dopamine hits, never realizing they're burning away the very energy that could transform them. Every time you give in, you're making yourself weaker. Every moment wasted on instant pleasure is a moment stolen from your future success. Harness lust like a weapon. Now imagine if you took that same fire, the hunger, the craving, the need, and turned it into fuel. Instead of chasing distractions, you chase something real. You take that restless energy and build a powerful body. You focus that intensity on stacking your money and creating wealth. You use that drive to master a skill that makes you untouchable. The greatest men in history weren't controlled by lust. They controlled it. They redirected it. They used it to push themselves harder. Why weak men stay average? Weak men don't know how to handle their desires. They think lust is something to suppress or fear. But suppression isn't the answer. Transformation is. The difference between the men who rise and the men who fall comes down to self-control. Weak men chase pleasure. Strong men chase progress. When you master your lust, you unlock a hidden source of power. You no longer act out of impulse. You no longer waste time on meaningless distractions. You move with purpose. You channel your hunger into results. You can either waste your fire on things that leave you empty, or use it to build something that makes you powerful. The choice is yours. Be a slave to your desires, or use them to fuel your greatness. Suppression makes you weak. Control makes you strong. Most men think the answer is to fight their urges, to suppress them, to pretend they don't exist. But what happens when you push something down without an outlet? It builds up. It gets stronger. That energy doesn't disappear. It turns into frustration, self-doubt, and anxiety. You feel stuck, like you're constantly battling yourself. And when that pressure finally explodes, you end up losing control, falling back into the same habits you were trying to escape. Why suppression leads to weakness? A man at war with himself will always lose. When you treat your own nature as the enemy, you create an endless cycle of guilt, shame, and regret. You hesitate. You second-guess yourself. Your confidence fades. And what happens to a man without confidence? He becomes weak. Weak in his actions, weak in his decisions, weak in his presence. He no longer moves with purpose. He moves with doubt. Master your desires. Don't fear them. Instead of running from your desires, take control. Accept that lust is part of you. But you decide where that energy goes. You can either waste it or use it. Use that intensity to sharpen your mind, developing discipline that separates you from the weak. A man who has mastered himself isn't at war with his own nature. He has turned it into his greatest advantage. While other men fight their desires and fail, he controls them and thrives. Control equals strength. There's a reason why the most powerful men in history didn't suppress their energy. They redirected it. They transformed it into ambition, focus, and dominance. The man who fears his own power stays weak. The man who masters it, he becomes unstoppable. Desire is a weapon if you learn to use it. History is not written by men who gave in to their impulses. It's written by men who mastered them. The greatest warriors, rulers, and visionaries didn't waste their fire on temporary pleasure. They turned it into power. Look at the most dominant men in history. They weren't distracted. They weren't chasing cheap highs. They took their hunger and built empires with it. That same energy that could have been wasted on weakness was transformed into strength. The difference between men who build and men who fall: every man feels desire, but only a few control it. Most men let it control them. They chase women, cheap thrills, and instant gratification. They burn out their potential before it even has a chance to grow. But the men who rise above, they use that fire. Instead of draining themselves chasing distractions, they fuel their ambition. They build, they dominate, they become legends. Desire alone won't make you great. Discipline will. Lust is neither good or bad, it's just raw power. If you waste it, it weakens you. If you master it, it sharpens you. Turn hunger into legacy. Weak men let desire pull them away from their purpose. Strong men use it to push them forward. Ask yourself, do you want to be remembered as a man who wasted his fire, or as a man who built something greater than himself? Self-control makes you powerful. Most men are slaves to their desires. They chase women, they chase validation, they waste their time, their potential, their power. But the man who controls himself, he stands apart. He moves differently. He commands respect without asking for it. When you master your urges, you think clearer. You make better decisions. You focus on what matters. And that focus? That's what builds empires. That's what separates the great from the average. A man who isn't controlled by lust is rare. He's disciplined. He's respected. He's dangerous in the best way possible. Control it, or be ruled by it. Lust isn't the problem. Weakness is. Most men let their desires control them, pulling them into distractions, draining their time, and killing their potential. They chase quick pleasure, thinking it will satisfy them, but it never does. It only leaves them empty, weaker, slower, and further from their goals. But the smart ones? They see lust for what it really is: pure energy. And energy can be wasted, or it can be redirected into something powerful. The same hunger that drives you toward pleasure can drive you toward greatness, if you take control. Waste it, or weaponize it. Every day, you have two options. Number 1, waste your energy on meaningless distractions. Let lust control you, weaken you, and leave you chasing temporary pleasure that never lasts. Number 2, use it to build something real. Turn that fire into fuel. Pour it into your goals, your body, your mind, and your future. It all comes down to control. If you let your desires run wild, they own you. If you master them, you own everything. A man with discipline is a man with power. He doesn't seek pleasure. Pleasure comes to him. He doesn't need validation. He commands respect. The men who change the world aren't the ones who chase. They're the ones who build. Make the right choice. Lust is not your enemy. It's your fuel, but only if you control it. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and turn that fire into something that can't be stopped. If you like this video, hit the like button. It helps others find this content, and that helps me too. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.